So I was just doing a review of Poco F4, and I think to myself, well, you have your P30 here. Why not make a little comparison of cameras? And okay, let's do it. Okay, first a little disclaimer. This is not phone versus phone, because if you're not retarded, you know that Poco F4 has better CPU, bigger battery, faster charging, 5G, better screen, better everything. But one thing where it's not necessarily better is camera. Okay, so it has three cameras: macro that is shit, ultra wide that has no autofocus, and main one that has optical image stabilization, 64 megapixels, and it supports Gcam, and it has much better CPU, newer CPU for image processing. So how is it compared to ultra wide with autofocus? 40 megapixel main camera with no optical image stabilization, and the real 3x camera. Well, I took some shots on my PC, of course, and now we will switch here and I'll show you. Okay guys, you know how it goes. I took few shots with both phones and let's compare them. Okay, we'll start at the beginning. So where you'll see that it's pixel, that's because it's a Gcam, and that's Poco F4. And when you see normal IMG blah blah blah, that's from P30. So this is 1x shot, shot at my home. So let's compare it. Okay, first glance, very similar, but when you look a bit at contrast, the photo is a bit more contrasty on Poco, and that's because of Gcam. But details, let's say here on the numbers, are better on P30. So this one, because of the textures and details, you can see here much more details kept. This one goes to P30. Okay, now 2 times digital crop. This should be interesting. This one should be better on Poco F4 because it has optical image stabilization and it has more megapixel sensor, bigger megapixels. So let's see. But yeah, even at 2 times, the Huawei just crushes Poco F4. Huh. Especially here where the numbers are. And this is with Gcam. So Gcam has some algorithms to do lossless zoom, but I guess Huawei still kind of leads that technology. Okay, let's try another one. This one was 3 times zoom. So the Huawei has real 3x camera, and the this one, yeah. And the Poco has digital zoom. So let's compare them. So yeah, this is night and day difference. So okay, this is unbelievably better on P30. And last one is 10x shot. And 10x shot, yet again, much better on P30, even somewhat usable shot on P30. You can see how the Gcam boosts contrast and everything, but when you see details, okay, much better details on P30. And remember, colors and contrast can always be boosted or reduced, but the details is what you get. Okay, you can sharpen a bit or anything, but it will usually make photo even worse. Okay, let's go to the next scenario. Oh, this one is interesting. So this one and this one are auto mode. So even though the P30 has more textures and it's a lot brighter, you can see how somewhat more sharper is photo on Xiaomi. but when you look at the photo at whole, much better job at P30. And you can see how different is approach. So here you have 1/15 of a second, and here you have 0.12 seconds. So it's kind of different at 2, but look at the ISO value. So here you have ISO 5100, and here you have whooping 25,000 on Huawei. But let's see a night mode photo. Okay, you can see how at night mode Xiaomi kind of lost focus, lost everything, and it got its exposure to 1/3 of a second. And here it's some multi-segment, so you cannot see how long was exposure. But yeah, low light photography and night photography is still Huawei's domain. I mean, even with Gcam, even like it's like 4 years later, Xiaomi still can't catch up to it. But one field where Xiaomi can catch up to Huawei is at contrast and dynamic range. I'll show that later. Okay, let's see a cat. Let me see, I took 2 shots. Okay, this one, pixel, and I think this one. Yeah, let's do this. So, Huawei and Xiaomi. Okay, the both photos are good. Let me see. I think they're probably the same quality, same everything. I wouldn't say that one is better than another. Here the cat was moving, so it's a bit blurry. But yeah, I'd say probably the same quality. Huawei does a bit better here. Xiaomi does a bit better here. So yeah, I'm maybe a bit better on Xiaomi because of the contrast and everything. But yeah, very similar. Let's see here. Okay, here are some leaves. And what can I tell you about this photo is that even though Huawei was in my left hand, that's not my primary hand. Actually it's focus problem. So yeah, Xiaomi couldn't focus on. Yeah, they focused on different spots. So this photo is not really relevant, because you can see that here the bar is out of focus, here is in focus, here the flower is in focus or leaf, and here is not. So we can probably just see colors. I can tell you that it was a bit on the warmer side, so these are probably more accurate, but we cannot consider this photo for real. Let's see, maybe here we have something better. Yeah, different approaches to the color. I'd say more accurate color on Huawei, but that's only during the day. During the night, the colors on Huawei are always artificial because it has different kind of sensor. But for contrast, better on Xiaomi. So they kind of throw punches here, but very similar results. Okay, let's see. I think this is ultra wide. Nope, this is just a cat. Okay, so another cat in my garden. What to tell you except that Huawei did a better job at colors. This cat looks almost gray here, and it's actually yellow, and leaves also. So yeah, this one goes to P30. Let's see. I think this was some kind of digital zoom. Let's see. Yeah, this was. I don't know what this was, but probably 2 or 3 times X, but much better on Huawei. You can see it's Huawei here. So yeah, basically everywhere where there's a zoom or low light, Huawei will take win, even though it's 4 years older phone. Let's see the dog for change. Okay, this is also probably 3 times digital zoom. I don't know. And it's also much better on Huawei because no real optical zoom on Poco. But colors are better on Poco. This one's kind of more real than this. Okay, let's see this one. Okay, so This is an ultra wide photo. You can see by the values, sorry, f2.2 on both of them. They are pretty similar in a lot of things, but when you look at the details, let's see here, they are better on Huawei because it's bigger resolution. But when you look at dynamic range, you can see how better it is on Xiaomi. So that's the advantage of HDR from Gcam. But then again, you get some weird blue tones, so I don't know. But yeah, for me, better photo on Xiaomi in this one. Let's see here. So this is also ultra wide. And these are very, very similar actually, but HDR better on Xiaomi. Colors somewhat better on Huawei. Okay, let's see the next one. So this is also, yeah, no, sorry, these are two different photos. Let me see. This one, oh, I just took two photos. Okay, here it is. So this is 1x. In this particular photo, dynamic range is much better on Xiaomi. You can see how many more details are kept in bright spots, especially spots like this. So better contrast, better HDR. Okay, here, let's see. First of all, beautiful colors on both of them. Okay, this is what fall, autumn is all about. I'd say pretty much similar photos, different approaches to colors. More accurate colors were probably somewhere in between these two. And let's see here. Oh yeah, this is interesting one. So these are both saying IMG because they are both shot with stock cameras, and I shoot with the stock cameras because I wanted to see the full sensor size. So the bigger image here is from Xiaomi, 64 megapixel, and smaller one is 40 megapixel on Huawei. So let's see when we zoom in what we get. Let's zoom into this yellow leaf here. Okay, first what you can see is that the photo on Huawei it's much sharper. Okay, and so that's the first thing I noticed. The second thing I noticed, the colors are much stronger and more vibrant on Huawei. Even though Huawei has smaller sensor, it has more details. And look, this photo from Xiaomi is 20 megapixel, this one is 14. So almost half more information has. But yeah, look how soft it is during the edges especially. So yeah, this sensor on Poco is good when you bind it together, but to shoot in a full resolution is not recommended. So yeah, another Poco, and still not good as Huawei P30. Why is that? First of all, it doesn't have autofocus on ultra wide camera, so macro no go. Second, the low light algorithms are still the best in Huawei. I mean, Huawei did their job good like 4 or 5 years ago, and it's still, you can see it compared to the new mid-rangers that it's better. And third reason why Huawei is still better is because it has dedicated optical zoom lens that quality is much more better than any digital zoom. Where Huawei loses to Poco is in two segments. First one is dynamic range. That's what you get with the newer algorithms and better CPU. And the second one is at video. I didn't post video here because I need to edit it first. But when you shoot the video, the HDR is much better on Xiaomi, and stabilization is somewhat more smoother. So yeah, thank you for watching another comparison of cameras of different generations, different styles, different everything. It's interesting for me to see how technology moves forward in some aspects and in some it doesn't. And I hope it's also interesting for you.